Hi and welcome to the Art Teams podcast. And today what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about the work we've done over the summer and what are some of the results that we're finding from our evaluations. So this is a little bit more technical than usual. This is not so much of a show and tell. This is really us sharing our research results so you can start seeing what impact the work we're doing is having on the teachers we're working with. Later on, as we gather more evidence, we will talk also about the impact on students. So the first thing to know is we've spent 2 very intensive weeks in the summer with our teachers, and we've worked on their EMA project, or the Emerging Media Arts project. We've worked on curriculum and how does Teaching for Understanding, for example, merges with this work. And of course, we worked on developing the inquiry journals. And so teachers have had a lot of time with us. We worked from the morning all the way until the afternoon. And teachers were fantastic during this time because they've actually stayed extra time. There was really a sense that we're working together in fantastic ways. And what we set out to do as part of our research is to see what impact does it have on our teachers. So first, let me tell you a few things about our teachers. We've had 15 educators in this group. On top of that, we've had artists and museum educators. So this is a fairly large group. And our classroom teachers, where half of them were art teachers, half of them came from a domain that is not art, but were there to learn how to integrate the arts. And as a result of that, we've looked at how they've grown exactly in the ability to integrate art into their practice. The other thing to know about our teachers is that there was a real distribution of experience. So the average years of experience for our teachers was 12, but we had everything from brand new teachers all the way to veteran teachers with 20 years or more of experience. So it was a really flat distribution, which is exactly what we aim to do. We wanted to get a cross-section of the teacher workforce. The second thing is the average time in their current position was about 6 years. Again, this is average, which means we've had, again, new teachers who were 1, 1 or 2 years in their position, but we've had a lot of teachers who've had more time in their position. And that means that they could learn from each other, get the energy of young teachers who are looking for new ways, but also the experience and the ability to explore and to know what's possible from our more veteran teachers. So this is a little bit about the teachers. When we look at the measures, we looked at what has happened during the summer with a number of measures. We've had quantitative measures, mostly through surveys, and we looked at self-efficacy to teach and to reach the hardest to reach students. We also used self-efficacy for arts integration. So how confident were they to integrate the arts and other domains? So for art teachers, it was really about how can you bring the other domains into your teaching? And for the non-art teachers, it was how do you bring art into your practice? But both were asked about that. We also looked at 2 other features which we didn't expect a lot from during the summer, and that is collective self-efficacy. That is the sense of how do we as a school feel like we can meet all students' need, and the other one is sense of belonging in schools, which we know for teachers is really important, especially after the pandemic. Those 2 we didn't expect a lot on because this work in the summer was with individual teachers or a teacher with a partner, not with the whole school. So they might actually have a great collective self-efficacy, but we didn't expect it to change over the summer because they didn't work with their school. And so those were the quantitative measures. On the qualitative measures, we simply interviewed our teachers and also asked for written comments that were anonymous to learn what mattered and what were the most influential thing that happened over the summer. So now, let's get into the results. So when we look at what has changed in the quantitative measures, you can see that we had 2 significant results. We had teacher self-efficacy to reach all students has grown significantly. And the second piece was the self-efficacy to work with arts integration. Those are the 2 areas we expected to see change, and we did see growth in both of them over the summer. The other 2, collective efficacy and sense of belonging, again, I mentioned we didn't expect much and we didn't get much, which actually gives me confidence that that growth was not a result of just a positive bias where the teachers liked us, therefore they responded well to the survey. When we look at the quantitative quantitative results. So we are going to keep monitoring and to see how this progresses over time. When we go to the qualitative results, we really found out some really interesting things that we want to share with you. And the first one is that movement, which was not part of our original plan, but did happen out of the sense that teachers needed in a long day some kind of a physical relief, but also a way to collect themselves, given two very hard years in education in the last few years. We integrated movement. Maggie has created some videos that we will share with you about the sense of movement and how it plays out. And that was one of the things that teachers felt was most successful in helping them stay focused, but also helping them really rethink their relationship with teaching and with their students. So that was really, the way I think about it is movement is magic. And it really had a positive impact, and it changed the way we thought about the way we integrate and the way we think about emerging media arts to incorporate this larger sense of a product. The second thing that teachers have mentioned is the time to reflect and think through what have we done, why are we doing it, how does it change the way I think and the way I'm going to act was critical. This is not new, but what the power of our teams was that we got the teachers together and then provided the time and the space without too much dictation of how do we use our time. There was a daily time for thoughtful reflection using the inquiry journals. So that was another use of the materials. And then teachers and all of the educators, the teaching artists, the museum educators and the classroom teachers all appreciated the collaborative community where everybody's contributing and everybody's learning from each other. Even if their art practice, for example, is very much individualized, you could just go and watch somebody else's process of art. I've learned a lot from different people's processes and how they go through it, and I created my own version of that. It wasn't really copying as much as using that to riff on and to create my own version of that. It's a great way to think about how do we collaborate and how do we grow in our sense of artistic making. Finally, the things that teachers have mentioned and appreciated was access to a studio where there are a lot of materials and having tools at all levels, including digital tools and physical tools, 3D printers and jigsaws and all kinds of things that allow you to be freer in your creation and to open horizons into your creativity. So while a lot of our creations were two-dimensional pieces of art on our thinking journals, it was also that we used materials to create 3D creations and digital creations that couldn't be created otherwise. And the last piece that teachers mentioned and was really important is they appreciated the time and space to create a curricular vision for their classrooms for the following year. And we knew that this was the time to create, this was the time to make. And that time, just like the time for reflection, was much appreciated, because giving a set of tools and then say, now in the time you have left until the school year starts, go create your own, was not really what teachers were looking for. They were looking for also boundaries and say, we are at this point, we will be ready, we will pick this up in the fall, but we also get a time to call our own and to really to go on break. And we think after the last 2 years, the pandemic and the new pressures on teachers, this is really crucial to provide the time and also to provide the time when things aren't happening and people can rest. So just to summarize, we had just the expected results in our quantitative measures, self-efficacy to reach all students and to teach with arts integrated into other subjects definitely went up, and significantly so. And that is especially important to remember that we don't have a huge sample. We have a small group of teachers, so to get a significant effect, something really meaningful, a large effect size had to happen. And the second thing is that the qualitative results said, given time to reflect, to create, and to plan, was crucial, and making sure that there's enough free time and not constantly new things coming at you. And the second piece is just providing the space and the tools to be creative. So these are our results from our summer, and we will keep updating you as we learn new things. And we'll see you next time on the Art Teams podcast.